Hey guys, my name is Leon, and today I want to do a two-part video. Basically a short NBA preview, previewing each of the East Conference and Western Conference teams and starting lineups. So with that being said, this video is gonna be talking about the Eastern Conference teams and their starting lineups, and then the second video will be the Western Conference team and starting lineup. That being said, let's just get started. I'm gonna be using basketball reference as the reference to the teams' rosters. So, anyways, let's start with Miami. So, Miami starting lineup is gonna be. I think they're gonna start. Goran Dragic, Doug Robinson shooting guard, Jimmy Butler, and Miles Leonard with Bam at center. I think that's a decent starting lineup. Their bench, they're gonna be probably going with. They just added A.B. Bradley in the offseason. They also added more Harkless. Those guys will be probably come off the bench with Kelly Olynyk, possibly somebody like Kendrick Nunn and Iguodala. I think those will be the rotation that they're gonna go with for the regular season. Anyways, let's move on. Next, we're gonna go over the Washington Wizards. Starting lineup is gonna be Wes Westbrook, who they just acquired in the trade for John Wall a few weeks ago. With Bradley Beal, I think they're gonna start Denny Ajaba, and along with Rui Hachimura, and the center's gonna be Thomas Bryant, which former Laker, and then the bench is gonna be Troy Brown, Ish Smith, David Bertans, Isaac Bonga, and probably either Mo Wagner or Robert Lopez, depending on which center they feel like is a better fit, who's healthy. Um, this is a solid team for them. I kind of like the Wizards right now, so maybe the only people who I would think could be debated starting is either Denji or Troy Brown Jr., who's one of those two maybe start as small forward and the other might go to the bench. Let's move on. Toronto, they lost Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol, so there's an opening at solid center for them. They some reason started Alex Len, so that's kind of weird. They started Alex Len at starting center, which whatever. Let's see how that goes for them. Anyways, the starting lineup is Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet and shooting guard, with the starting forwards OG Amanui, Pascal Siakam, and I think they're gonna start Aaron Baines, who they acquired from Phoenix at center. And be on the lookout for someone like Chris Boucher, who might start a center for them, or someone like Alex Len, who below average. But hey, beggars cannot be choosers here. They kind of lost a lot of depth at the center position, so they got whoever they was able to get. Anyways, let's move on. Well, not before we move on, let me go over the bench. My bad. So they have Matt Thomas, Patrick McCall. Stan Johnson might play a little bit. DeAndre Bamby might play a little bit, but I think one of those guys might play. Not both of them. Like I said, Alex Len might get some minutes. Nolan Powell and someone like, I think I mentioned Terrence Davis, right? Yeah, Terrence Davis is another one. So I think that's going to be the rotation. Anyways, move on to Philly. In 2K, they have Matisse Thybulle starting instead of Seth Curry, but I think they're going to start Seth Curry, Danny Green, Ben Simmons at point guard. This is going to be the point guard who actually rather not Tobias Harris. I rather Ben Simmons be starting a power forward instead of point guard, but that's me. He can start point guard along with Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, who I mentioned is going to play the 4 with Joel Embiid. I think the bench is going to be Matisse Thybulle, Fuzi Kozmans, with Shake Milton being the backup point guard, Dwight Howard, and maybe either a little bit of Mike Scott or Terrence Ferguson. Let's see how that goes for them. Let's move on. Orlando, okay, there we go. Orlando has a weird roster, but I think they have a semi-competitive roster they could pull out here. Obviously, the starting point guard is going to be Markel Fultz with Evan Fournier, who's still on the roster for some reason. With John Isaac injured, I think they're going to go with someone like James Ennis or Gary Clark, depending on who they like better. And the power forward is going to be Aaron Gordon. Center is going to be Nikola Vucevic, I think, yeah. So their bench is going to be Terrence Ross, who I personally think they should start Terrence Ross. Anyways, Terrence Ross is going to be the sixth man. Either Gary Clark or James Ennis, whoever they don't start, will also be playing off the bench. Obama, is he healthy, he'll play. If not, then they'll play Kem Birch. And the rookie Cole Anthony, who's been balling out, is a good fit. He's going to get some play time along with Michael Carter Williams. I think that will be their rotation. And now, on to my team, the New York Knicks. They got some interest pieces. They're very young. So I think their point guard is going to be Alfred Payton for the time being, along with RJ Barrett, the shooting guard. Kevin Knox will be the starting small forward. Put next to Julius Randle for the time being, Mitchell Robinson being center. So right now, I think their rotation is going to be Nerlens Noel, back it up Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, Reggie Bullock's going to get some minutes, Dennis Smith, or Frank Ntilikina. Maybe they'll play both. If one of them doesn't play, then I could see someone like Alec Burks can get some minutes. Also Rivers, so they got options at guard. And then they also have guys like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, which I don't know why they signed him, but whatever. I think that's rotation. Let's move on. Milwaukee obviously signed Drew Holiday in the offseason. They gave up Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, and 3 first-round picks. It's a little bit too much, and I like Holiday as a better fit on the Knicks, but in Milwaukee, it's fine that he's here. Anyways, let's just move on to starters. It's going to be obviously Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, who I actually watched in the Cars game before he got drafted, Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Brook Lopez. Their bench is kind of interesting. Brian Forbes, former Spur, he's kind of undersized for the 2, but he'll probably play both guards. DJ Augustine, Bobby Portis, who they got from the Knicks, Pat McConnor, and I think Torrey Craig, who they got from Milwaukee. So that'll be this rotation. I think they're also going to see a little bit of DJ Wilson too playing. So I think they might go with 9 to 11 guys. Anyways, moving on. So now next team is Atlanta. I really like what Atlanta did in the offseason. They might be too deep, but I like that they have, I would say, at least 11 playable guys. Chris Dunn is someone that signed from Chicago. He's injured right now. But the big signing is getting Bogdanovic from Sacramento and basically giving him the restricted offer, and Sacramento didn't match. Getting Gallinari from the Thunder in the sign. I don't think it's a sign trade. I think it's just a straight-up signing. And signing guys like Simon Hill, signing guys like Rondo, who's a 2-time NBA champion, won a championship with Celtics, and won a championship with the Lakers. I was going to say the Knicks, but it's actually with the Lakers last year. And they drafted Okondu, who's, I think, the 6th overall pick. Doesn't matter. He'll be good defensively. Anyways, the starting lineup is going to be Clint Capella, obviously John Collins for the time being, until he gets traded, maybe not. Maybe not Trae Young, Bogdanovic from Sacramento, and at the small forward, I think they should start DeAndre Hunter for defense. Even though Cam Reddish, I think when this career is over, will be the better player, but Cam Reddish is going to be off the bench, so I think Cam Reddish, Kevin Huerter, Rondo until Chris Dunn gets healthy, Okondu, and Galani. That's their 6th man. So I think that will be the rotation for the time being. Indiana. They have Malcolm Brogdon still. They have the issue with Miles Turner and Sabonis, who are kind of redundant big men, same height. Not similar skill set, but they both like plowed in bigs. None of them, they complement each other, but then they really don't. None of them is like, can really guard in the perimeter well. I don't know. Miles Turner is better defensively, but Sabonis is better offensively. So, anyways, with that being said, let's go into the lineup. Malcolm Brogdon, Oladipo is back. Like I said, the big man Sabonis, Miles Turner, and then T.J. Warren at the small forward. Let's go to the bench. They have the Hardy brothers. This will be an interesting Drew Holiday destination, by the way, before he went to Milwaukee, because they have his 2 other brothers, Justin Holiday and Aaron Holiday, who's in the 2nd year. They got someone like Jacob Sampson, who could see some minutes at the 3 and the 4 or at the 2. We'll see. He's part of those trust the process teams in Philadelphia. They have Doug McDermott, and who else they have here? It doesn't matter. They got some decent guys. Oh, yeah, Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb's health? Well, actually, no. Jeremy Lamb's supposedly out until January. I think the only thing here is they do need another big to come on the bench, but then really, not really, because then they could just say, hey, play someone like Doug McDermott or some guy like Jacob Sampson and play them at the power forward and have one of the bigs play center. So, anyways, that's the rotation. Moving on, Cleveland, they have obviously the fake, well, not a fake version, but they have a version of Damon CJ, but worse, obviously, with Darius Garland and Con Sexton. Those are the guards. Then you have Kevin Love, who's their best player for the time being. Drummond and Isaac Okoro's the star small forward over Jetty Osman, which is a rookie, semi upgrade, but not really. You gotta see what Okoro can do long term. Jetty Osman's coming off the bench with Larry Nance Jr. They don't have Tristan Thompson anymore, so that gives Larry Nance Jr. more minutes. They essentially, by acquiring Drummond last year, they essentially pushed Tristan Thompson out, which it is what it is. They have Matthew Dellavedova, Jamal McGee, and Dante Exum. So there's that too. Really interesting fit, I think, personally for them. So let's see where they go with this lineup. But that's the rotation for the time being. Let's just move on. All right, so we're almost done. Boston. Boston's a team that I have some questions with because personally, I think Boston dropped the ball when it comes to drafting people. Cause I think Boston should have got more wings, especially losing Gordon Hayward. But then they have a bunch of, not only combo guards, but a bunch of point guards a lot. And they rely on a guy like Marcus Smart to play the shooting guard because he could play point guard, but it's not enough minutes at the point guard for him to play. I mean, I'm fine with him starting with Kemba when Kemba comes back with Brown, Tatum, and then they have Tristan Thompson, and they have Robert Williams. But I personally think they should start two of those big guys. Have Tatum play the 3, Brown play the 2, and then when Kemba returns, play 1. If not, have Marcus Smart play the 1. I like that, but I think they're gonna go with Kemba, Marcus Smart, when Kemba's healthy, anyways. Tatum, Brown, and I guess go with Tice for the time being, and then they can play Tristan Thompson, or Time Lord, aka Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Sammy Ojale, choose one of these. And Grant Williams said Ojale are too redundant to me, so I don't think they can play both of them. And then they can play your pick'ems of guards like Jeff Teague, Javonte Green, Peyton Pritchard saw some preseason time, Cassie Edwards. Maybe they'll Taco Fall out for a little minutes. And I want Taco Fall to start, but I don't think he's able to get himself in shape to be competent enough to play like 20, 30 minutes a game. Anyways, moving on. They have, I think, 12 guys that could play. Anyways, Brooklyn. So now Brooklyn's a big question. Obviously, Kyrie, KD is starting, and you could say Jared Allen is supposed to start, but they have DeAndre, so DeAndre's going to start, and Jared Allen is going to come off the bench. Anywho, never mind that. The real question is who's going to be the starting shooting guard small forward. And I personally think Spencer Dinwiddie should come off the bench because he's the secondary playmaker, and he could still play like 30 minutes a game. But I feel like they might have Karis LeVert come on the bench. But if this is my thing, I think Spencer Dinwiddie come on the bench. You have Joe Harris and Karis LeVert start. I think either two of the Joe Harris, Karis LeVert, and Spencer Dinwiddie will start, and one of them is going to become the six-man come off the bench. So that leaves Landry Shamet's the other guard. You have Jeff Green, you have Taurean Prince, and then you have, like I said, Jared Allen come on the bench. That's the 10 guys. They can play a little bit. Timon Louis Cabo, I think. Let's just call him TLC, whatever. He's on Philly those first few years. And then they have Tyler Johnson, former Miami Heat guy who got that ridiculous contract a few years ago. Guys like that could play with them. Anyways, Brooklyn needs to stay healthy, specifically KD and Kyrie. Let's move on. Few teams left. Chicago. All right. You got Damian. Oh, not Damian. What am I saying? They have Kobe Wright, Laurie Marketing, 4-4 pick Patrick Williams. You know, they have guys like Wendell Carter, obviously Zach LaVine. So I think their starting will be Zach LaVine, Kobe Wright, Laurie Marketing, Wendell Carter. And I think for the time being, they're going to start Otto Porter. I think Patrick Williams could probably take that spot, but Patrick Williams should come off the bench with Daniel Garfus being one of the bigs. Sadaransky being the backup point guard. That is Young for the veteran. And probably either Garrett Temple, who I don't know why they signed him, but whatever. And what's his name? Denzel Valentine. One of those guys gonna play. I think they have, and then they also have Chandler Hudson, who, unless injuries, God forbid, happens, they don't have like a lot of minutes for these guys. They could play 12 guys, and Billy Dante's a new coach now, so let's see how that happens. Moving on to the last two teams, Charlotte Hornets. Obviously, you got a little mellow ball. Terry Rozier has experience coming on the bench, so I would personally start Devontae Graham, but I think they might start Rozier. But let's just put Graham at the shooting guard spot with LaMelo Ball at the point guard. Then you have Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, and Cody Zell, who's not a bad player. He's 7 foot, so he's not like the worst player in the world. So you can have him. Their bench is gonna be not unfortunately, but their bench is gonna be Miles Bridges, Bishop Biyombo. Maybe they could play one of the Martin twins. I don't see it, but whatever. They have a solid 8-man rotation that, like I said, with Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, and Bishop Biyombo. And then if they can give Malik Monk some minutes, that's like 9 guys that can play. And Malik Monk's not the worst, person in the world. I would love for him to get like more opportunities, but we'll see. Let's see Gordon Hayward could stay healthy, more importantly. Anyways, moving on. Last team on the East, Detroit Pistons. They got Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose coming off the bench, which good job by Dwayne Casey by making that decision right away, giving Kalen Hayes the confidence to start. And not saying they handed him the job. It's more like a pumping him up, saying, hey, there's no confidence. Derrick Rose, like, no confidence here. He's the future. And it makes sense. I like that move from Derrick Rose. He's very mature. Anyways, Killian Hayes will start along with the former Lakers guy, Makau, I think that's his name. He was on the Lakers for a cup of coffee, whatever. I think last year. Well, not last year, the year before. I think that was the first year LeBron played with. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They could start him, or they could start somebody like Wayne Ellington as shooting guard, but I think they could start Makau as shooting guard for now. What's his name? Jeremy Grant. Just got the big deal, almost $20 million a year. He's gonna be the star small forward, which I don't get it. To me, he's a role player, but whatever. The power forward is gonna be Blake Griffin if he's healthy. If not, Sekou Devore can just slide in, and then Mason Plumlee center. And I like Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee is someone I wish that was still in Portland, but whatever. Their bench is gonna be Derrick Rose, Sakir Bay, Deion Wright, Wayne Ellington, and Jahlil Okafor. We'll see. Pistons, if they can, and they have this rookie, Isaiah Stewart, whatever. If they can really put their heads together, Dwayne Casey's actually an underrated coach. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I'm rooted for Pistons. Well, I'm lying. I'm an Knicks fan. Anyways, that being said, that's the Eastern Conference. That's those who I think will be the starting lineup. And quickly, I just want to go over the standings who I think will make the playoffs. Obviously, I think Milwaukee's going to probably be the top seed. Then Miami. Then Philly, Boston. I think that's the top 4. And then there's Toronto will be the 5th. Brooklyn will be 6th because I don't trust the injuries. And then the playing guys, I think Atlanta's going to be playing. Washington's going to be playing. Chicago has a chance to be playing. And I mentioned Atlanta already, right? Yeah. And Atlanta's going to be the last playing. I think the Hornets, even though they have Gordon Hayward, Detroit, my Knicks, Cleveland, and Chicago? I didn't mention Chicago, yeah. I think those are the teams that are going to miss the playoffs. Anyways, that being said, thank you for watching this video. And the rest of the conference video is just going to come soon. Just be on the lookout for it. And yeah, see you guys.